Yo, yo, yo. What up, everybody?
You know, you are sorely missed when you're not in here because I think I went the entire live stream last week with it on the top chat instead of the live chat. Yep. Yep, I sure did.
Slacker. I thought your boy was supposed to come up today.
Yeah, I told him not to because Carol threw up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I told him not to because.
What are you doing?
Well, can you just please give me ah, what is that? It can go for a couple of seconds with nobody listening to us for just a second.
Incoming message, April. That's funny.
Well, I mean, I sent it to her last week, and I was in a different headspace.
So, in case y'all didn't notice, I got my new glasses tonight.
Mm-hmm. They literally just came. Like I just
put them on like what 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, I when we came back home, I like swooped by and I saw something and I was like, let me grab those real quick. And I thought they were like pills or something from the VA sending us stuff that we don't need. Mm-hmm. And Ladessa was like, it says something optical. I was like, oh, those are Daddy's glasses! Yay!
It's funny how we called
mm-hmm.
last week.
Just 2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they show up. Yeah. That's why because you were giving me a hard time for like still trying to run the rabbit with you, is because I felt personally attacked when she said something along the lines of, well, you know, Mr. Rear, it takes blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, but last time when we called, y'all hadn't even, like, they had dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So you can't fault me for wanting to call and check on them. You know, I know how long it's been. I'm just checking to make sure you haven't dropped the ball again. That's all.
So.
Because you know what? The VA dropped the ball on something?
What?
Never, ever. So.
I think they have more drops than they have completions.
Yeah. I think so.
Kind of like the Dallas Cowboys.
Incomplete pass. Yeah, maybe. And hopefully the 49ers tomorrow. Come on, we want Taylor's boyfriend's team to win.
Well, Taylor's part of the Illuminati, so I can't get that. So,
Ladessa was like, "Who's playing the Super Bowl tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know, some team and Taylor's boyfriend's team." And I was kidding. I knew who it was, but that's what. Like, legit, people that don't really follow football, they know that Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team is on there. It's not even the Kansas City Chiefs. The poor guy. He's not even Travis Kelce. He's just Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Do you know, have you seen all of the numbers that have come in of how much she has generated for the NFL just in the short time that they've been dating?
Mm-mm.
It's like billions of dollars. Like billions, because she's been showing up at the games, and so like all the coverage that's come from it, like all of that. The amount of people that are going to be watching tomorrow to see if she actually hops on a plane and shows up at the Super Bowl is like a thing. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Chip, we're talking about it.
Well, yeah, that's the point. That, my dear, is the point. $331 billion. Just in the however many months that they've been dating.
Imagine if she would do that for Jesus.
Just saying,
how different the world would be.
What's up, Crystal? So we got April's in here, Kim, Henry, Geeky Gardens.
I don't know if these new glasses are better or worse because I still can't read everything that Crystal's putting up there.
Twitter already showed she's landed. She's ahead of schedule and already there. So it's so funny because...
That tells you right now Kansas City's going to lose because her boy's going to be tired tomorrow.
I don't know. He's been doing... Well, I don't know. She's not even human anymore. She's a $sign. You know what's crazy, though? And we're just going to talk about this for like 2 seconds, and then we're not going to give her any more time on this show. But, you know, she's still just a person at the end of the day. And from all accounts that I've seen of people that have gotten to know her...
She has to put her pants on one leg at a time.
You're the only one that I know that puts it on 2 legs at a time. You're not like everybody else. But, you know, at the same time, April, you can get it off of the description. It should be, ooh, maybe not this one. I think I might have taken it. Gotta add it back on. Anyway, it should be on one of the older videos. You should be able to grab it. I'm more interested in the commercials these days just for creative juices. So, yeah, I saw that a company who last year made a really bad decision on marketing is trying to go a whole different direction this year, and is looking for, I think it's Post Malone is going to be their new whoever, and I think he kind of bridges because I've seen him sing with country stars, and then I've seen him sing more pop and everything in between. So he's the guy. I don't know if you've even seen anything that
What's going on,
Mark? But he's one. But yes, I definitely want to see the commercials. That's the thing. And you know, Carol and I were talking about this yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, personally, I like her. Honestly, never thought she was egotistical or anything. It's the media that's always, yeah. The thing that we were talking about was the halftime shows. You know, years ago, that used to be like the thing. That was the big draw. It didn't even matter who was playing. You wanted to know who was doing the halftime show.
Yeah, but Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson messed that up.
Well, it even goes back. It goes back. We started talking about it, and Carol was like, you know, the last one that I really remember that I was like, yeah, I really want to see was when, I think it was Katy Perry or one of those. It was. I'm getting somewhere with this. It was 2016. Okay. So I said to her, I said, well, let's try to figure out why that happened. Because what brought it all up was she was like, I don't understand why Taylor Swift's not doing the halftime show this year. I said, because nobody can afford her. She is making so much money on her tour, they can't afford to pay her to come in here. I said, and that's the problem, is it used to be a status to perform in the Super Bowl halftime show. And now it doesn't have the same value as it used to. And that's what started that conversation of when did that start?
Lots of things don't have the same value that it used to. I mean, if you sit back and you look, actors used to jump all over themselves to get into a music video on MTV. Same way with a lot of the sports players. But now MTV has gotten so far away from music videos that's not a thing
So
anymore.
You're kind of making my point. So what happened to football?
Oh, they sissified football. They ruined. That's why I haven't watched a professional football game since Howie Long and Lawrence Taylor.
I'm not talking about the sport. I'm talking about what happened to the NFL.
Oh, they got woke. That's what.
And when did that happen?
What, 2016, 2017?
I'm just saying. We were able to kind of follow that rabbit trail and see.
But I mean, a lot like, I don't know, even long before that, we had junk like that happening in this country. There is absolutely, and if this offends somebody, I'm sorry, but there should absolutely no reason on God's green earth why a 14-year-old boy can become an Eagle Scout at 14. He doesn't have the maturity. And that's why an Eagle Scout no longer has the pristine that it used to have when we were kids. You used to work your tail off.
There it is, Lost Dude.
What do you say?
2016.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah. And, you know, I could get on a huge
I'll
soapbox.
get you even more going. I'm gonna wind it up like
Why?
I'm the monkey, like the box, like. So today we were delivering and we saw some scouts selling like discount cards or something, and they were in uniform. But there was one thing: they're no longer the Boy Scouts. They are just the Scouts. And these were women and girls. And the Scouts, not the Boy Scouts. So, have fun with that one. Ding!
No, I'm not. Look, Ethan, one of
Hey,
these.
Mark!
I am not.
You are trying so hard. Okay, so now that we got a bunch of people, we've been talking for a few minutes. Let's talk about what you want to talk about today. Mail call. Show me what happened.
I'm waiting to see if they show up.
Oh, okay. Did you tell them to?
I don't tell anybody anything.
So Crystal said, as a Maryland girl, our people have been pissy about football since the Colts left Baltimore. That was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went to what, Indianapolis? Are they still in Indianapolis or are they somewhere else now?
I think they're still in Indy.
Yeah. To be fair, I wish the Girl Scouts had more of the... Okay, so that's my whole point. The whole point of...
Stop. Stop. Ooh, y'all did this. Ooh, y'all did... Woo! Mm.
Hey, y'all, can't stay long. Dinner time. Want to say hey. Be back later. All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Jonathan. There's a Christian Scouts for boys and girls. Yeah, they snuck out in the middle of the night. I was telling Carol, I think you have the best argument for this, why it should be separate. I'll tell you what.
You're doing this, and you need to do this right now because you done kicked over a can of worms that didn't need to be kicked. Here's the brass tacks of it. That the reason why we had Boy Scouts and we had Girl Scouts, it wasn't about trying to keep women barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. No, it didn't have, in the origins of them, yes, the Girl Scouts kind of catered to that direction because back then, that's all little girls wanted to learn how to do. Okay?
I'm just going to say, but that was the thing. Like, they were supposed to learn that stuff.
I never would say supposed to because I think both genders are supposed to learn how to cook and both genders should learn how to clean.
Okay.
But, no. There are things that happen. There's a reason why there's age brackets with these organizations. What do you say?
When does Cub Scout become Boy Scout? That's part of what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm. When they are a Cub Scout, from the moment that they can get up and start tying their own shoes and stuff, that's to kind of start to help them develop them into a man. That is getting them to learn how to express things, learn how to do things. And they use camping and the outdoors as a tool to be able to get this stuff done. You're able to transfer because you go from Cub Scouts to Weeblos, from Weeblos to Boy Scouts. That happens around the age of 11, that you go from Weeblos to Boy Scouts. What also happens about the time of age of 11? Well, you don't know? Let me tell you. Boys take their brains out of their skull and they put it up on a shelf. And they no longer start thinking with this head. They start thinking with another one. And so, how is a young man at 11, 12, 13 when his body and his mind are going through all of these changes? We all know it as puberty. How is he supposed to be able to navigate these waters if he doesn't have another male dude other than his parents that he's able to go and talk and get comfortable and talk to and say, you know, hey, this is happening. Hey, you know, when I get around this girl at school, my stomach gets all in knots and stuff. What am I supposed to do? Iron sharpens iron. It says that in the Bible. It's biblical. You can't argue with that. That doesn't, a woman is there to nurture. That's a mom's job. A dad's job is to see him wanting to put the knife in the electrical outlet after telling the boy 3 or 4 times that he really doesn't want to do that. Looks at the mom and says, let's see how this turns out. And boy shocks himself, and then dad is able to step in and be able to teach. Okay?
And you're grounded.
From the age of 11 up until he becomes 18 is a very important pinnacle part in a young man's life. This is where he starts to develop the character of the type of man that he's going to become. You can call it toxic masculinity all day long, but at the end of the day, if a woman is being honest with herself and with whoever that she's talking to, she's not looking for the touchy-feely dude that can crochet. She's looking for security, a man that can protect her. She's looking for a man that's going to love her and take care of her. A young man learns those things from between the ages of 11, when all of a sudden that girl walking down the hallway goes from being illy and ucky to
making his belly go.
Look at that. That's interesting. We all know, we all been kids at one point in time. How many of you actually had the relationship that you could have went to mom or you could have went to dad and talked to them about anything and anything under the sun? There's 10 people in here. We'll be lucky if one person says me. We'll be lucky. The chances are none of us had that because we butted heads with our parents because we wanted to be wild. We wanted to be free. We wanted to experiment. We wanted independence, and we wanted all of that stuff. And our parents had a job that made us toe the line, because if they didn't make us toe the line, we could have went into a direction that would have wound us up in prison. Because the stuff that we learned at home was the foundation of what the laws and stuff are out in society. So a young man has to have that outlet for him in order to be able to develop fully and not be some whack job dude that we've got running around today that gets told, the girl says no, she doesn't want to go to the dance with him, and so all of a sudden he goes and shoots up the daggum school. We are robbing these young men the opportunities to be able to develop because we don't want to change the program in Girl Scouts to evolve Girl Scouts and to be able to do some of the same thing that the Boy Scouts do. No, we want to push the envelope and invade that sanctuary. That
safe space. If you want to talk about safe space.
For young men to be able to fully develop. Mm-hmm. And flip the coin the other way. What do you do if a young female, a young girl, her mom dies? Where's her outlet to be able to learn about her cycle, be able to learn about all the emotions, be able to learn the tricks of what to look out for so a young goober doesn't take advantage of her. Learn all of these things that it's essential for a woman's survival when they get to college age. You know, Robin openly admits she didn't even learn how to cook until she was in college. These are things, because in the Boy Scouts you learn how to cook too. These are things that we are robbing young America of, all in the name of some BS of equality. It's not equality. It's laziness. If there is a lot of girls that want to do rappelling, they want to do camping, canoeing, backpacking, I got absolutely no problem with that. My girls hunt with me. My girls trap with me. My girls turn wrenches with me. They do woodworking with me. I got absolutely no problem with that. They do electrical work, plumbing work. If a young woman is interested in that, then you fan that fire. But you don't go invade a sanctuary for other people to be able to grow and develop because you're too lazy to change the curriculum. This all could have been avoided if a bunch of people that were the head of the Girl Scouts, they said, look, we need to have a 10-minute conversation here about, we have an overwhelming number of young ladies that want to do canoeing, archery, backpacking, blah, blah, blah. We need to put this into our programs.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
And have been done.
Call the vote. Let's have it now. It probably would have passed unanimously, and we wouldn't be having this junk that we're having today.
Lost Dude says if one believes in toxic masculinity, then you have to believe in toxic femininity.
That's true too. That's a true statement.
I agree. Can't have one without the other.
Some of my best... Now look, there's no organization out there that is without its black eyes.
Oh, right.
Okay? Every organization's got them. That one whole bad apple spoils the bunch stuff. I get it. The Marine Corps got it. The Army's really got it. The Catholic Church has it. Boy Scouts have it. Girl Scouts have it. There's always that one jerkwad that goes out there and gives that organization a black eye. Okay? But just like we cannot paint an entire race or an entire ethnicity of people because of certain behaviors of one, we can't do that with these organizations either. Some of my best memories, look, I grew up in a household that wasn't very loving. It was a hardcore dictatorship.
My way or the highway.
You did this, and I'm going to make your life a living Hades until either you conform or you run away. And then when you run away and you get caught, I'm going to beat the snot out of you for making me look bad in public for you running away. It was a mentally, physically abusive home. But I had the Boy Scouts. Because see, back then, if I was able to become an Eagle Scout, that would make them look good. That would make him look good. So he was all about it. And that was my avenue to vent. And look, my scout leaders intervened many of times on my behalf, and to the point where that was one of the major reasons I believe that we moved when we moved. My scout leaders did everything that they could. They were there for me. I learned so much from them old dudes. And to see, knowing that there may be another me out there somewhere.
Several yous out there, I'm sure.
And there's probably other men out there like my Boy Scout leaders from Troop 10 out there willing to intervene, because that system that our government has put out to protect children is a joke. It is a bad joke. There's so many false claims that these people have to run down that
waste
takes
their time on.
away
Alexa,
from
cancel.
the real situations that are happening out there. And so these organizations are more than just camping and cookies. And we ruined them.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't enough of people like me out there that were that should have been standing up
the ground
and saying, no, back up. Girls want to do that? Cool. Do it over there in your sandbox. Go over there and do it in your sandbox. Change your curriculum. Here's the copy of that we use. Take it. Adjust it. Have a nice day.
If you don't like wearing little skirts for your uniforms,
don't wear
change
them.
it. Make them pants.
But
whatever.
It was, for some reason, it was easier to say, no, we're just going to let girls come infiltrate this sanctuary. And now there's all kinds of young men out there that have absolutely nobody to talk to.
Lost Dude says the Scouts started dying as an organization in the late 60s, early 70s when the government started paying moms to kick out fathers.
I don't know anything about that because there was nothing but dudes in my troops. Every troop that I ever had, even when we moved up to Augusta, the leaders were men.
I think he's talking about, is that about when the
now Cub Scouts?
No, I'm talking about the government started paying moms, so like the welfare system.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that verse.
Yeah, welfare. Yeah.
In history. Now, look, I'll tell you this: when I was Blaze's Scoutmaster, and this is one of the things that got me fired. Okay, I'll be the first one to admit I got fired. And this is when I knew there was no more hope for Scouts,
Boy Scouts.
for Boy Scouts, and it was going down a road that there was no. It was sliding down that slip and slide, and it had all kinds of baby oil all over it, so there was no stopping it. It was running Mach 2, Mach 3 at that time. The scout troop that I came in, I was giving it basically CPR. It was almost dead. And it was dead because it was being run by people who were scared. They were scared to stand up for what they believed in. They were scared to do the right thing. And there was a lot of moms infiltrating in that. And it's a situation that we have to go way back and go, okay, when it became okay for the family nucleus to break up, that's probably really when a lot of this stuff really started going. But I got fired. I got fired for multiple reasons. One is because a young man came before me to get ready to go to the board for his eagle, and he has to go through a Scoutmaster's board first. And I always started my board with repeat the oath, repeat the law, the motto, and then I always had a little tricky thing for them, but I always made them tie me a square knot.
All things that they should be proficient in.
You have to know the oath, the law, and the motto to go from scout to tenderfoot. That's 11-year-old stuff.
Yeah.
We should be breezing through this stuff. Coming into a Scoutmaster's board in full uniform, some of the kids wore the neckerchief, and some of them, they had all their merit badges displayed. But all they would have had to do, because the Scout motto was be prepared, right? So if I told you tie me a square knot, and you're like, well, give me some rope, you're not prepared, right? Outside the box thinking is what I was going for. I had a lot of kids that would pick their boots up, go like this, and start to untie their boots, and I'd stop them. Like, you're golden. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure that you were prepared because you could tie a square knot with your shoestrings. Mm-hmm. Okay? Well, this kid couldn't even do the oath. And I was livid. I did, just go. Go away. You failed. You can come back next week and we'll try it again. But if you stand before me next week and you don't know it, there's no way I'm going to let you go. Ever. And then summer camp came along, and in my old Boy Scout troop, one of the requirements for the hiking merit badge is that you had to hike with your backpack 5 miles, right? Well, we stopped 2.5 miles out. We hiked it in, and then when summer camp was over, 2.5 miles, we hiked it out. That was their 5 miles for their thing, because it didn't have to be at one time. They took that away. It could have been done over
increments.
Mm-hmm. So, and then I took all the kids. We took them out to the Golden Corral or something, didn't we? Yeah, the boys loved it.
And the other thing is that they hiked 2.5 miles in and 2.5 miles out. But the part that Jason left out is that I had a van, and I had 2 coolers full of ice and Gatorade and water bottles and orange slices, and they didn't have to like run. It was literally a leisurely walk. They could stop when they needed to. We stopped several times on the side of the road and sat down and had water and it was fun for them. They enjoyed it. They were singing, they were doing cadences, like they had a really good time.
But the nail in my coffin is when I went to institute, back in the day, there was a ceremony. You know, every culture for young men, you look at Native Americans, you can look, at the Jewish, Scots, the Irish, all the way back. At a certain age, there is a ceremony for a boy to start his journey into becoming a young man, into becoming a warrior, into becoming a man. The Boy Scouts used to have that. It was a bridge ceremony. And what would happen is when that Weeblo was getting ready to graduate and come into that troop, okay, because that's why they always had it set up. They had this pack, which went to these Weeblos, and these Weeblos went to this troop, and they were all supposed to work together. We were going to set the bridge up, and how it goes is that the Cub Scouts and the Weeblos, they basically form 2 single file lines, one on each side of the bridge. Okay, and the young man starts down there at the end where it's the youngest Cub Scout, and he walks up to the bridge, and he starts to walk across the bridge. As he's walking across the bridge, the senior patrol leader, the senior scout of that troop, walks over, takes his Weeblo uniform,
kerchief and stuff,
takes his sash, takes it all, folds it up, hands him his Boy Scout shirt, sash, all the stuff for that troop, the patches, everything. It's right there in the middle of the bridge. And then he escorts him to the other side with the troop, and then it's that senior patrol leader, that senior scout's job. He introduces him to every scout there, and then assigns him his mentor. And that mentor is usually first class life star scout, somebody that's somewhat senior up in there, that might be assistant senior patrol leader, or senior patrol leader, someone along those lines, that helps this young man earn his scout badge and then his tenderfoot. And then it's kind of hands off. You're part of the troop now. Boom, done, And it's a very emotional, moving ceremony. I wanted to have that, and then like 8 moms wanted to be on the bridge with him. And I'm like, you do understand that when he comes to my troop, you're not coming on a single camping trip. You can come hang out here in the meetings, but you're not going into the back with the boys. You're not doing any of that. And they lost their mind. You're talking about Karens on steroids. These ladies flipped tables.
They went to the council
and got me fired.
Mm-hmm.
And
and the council was like, it's not like you're not wrong.
Yeah.
We just can't. Basically, the moms threatened to pull the boys if
and you wouldn't have any.
And you wouldn't have a troop.
You wouldn't have a troop.
So they were like, fired is a strong word, but that's essentially they just asked you to step down. But
and at the end of the day, this is obviously you can tell I still get fired up about the Scouts. Because as me growing up, that was one of the probably few positive things that I actually had in my life as a young man. That helped me become the man I am today. You know, and I'm not a recruiting poster for a man or anything like that. I've got my negative points just like anybody else. I'm broken just like anybody else. But I don't know how worse I would be if I didn't have those 6 or 7 years in Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even if it wasn't talking with the old Scoutmasters, it was them older boys in there.
Yeah.
You know, there were many a times that down in Albany, one of our campgrounds bordered a Native American old burial ground. And to be, you know, we did Order of the Arrow, and you know, we had many of deep conversations that eliminated prejudices, destroyed bigotry, destroyed sexism, now granted, I know a lot of boys may not get that opportunity, and each troop is different, but it especially in South Georgia now, for these conversations to happen back in 80s, 90s time frame was, you know, unheard of. But we had them. The spirit of brotherhood, camaraderie. Our troop was tight, and that sense of brotherhood there really built my foundation to be able to develop that brotherhood in the Marine Corps, to be able to develop that brotherhood with some of the guys at church and Emmaus. You know, and gave me the tools to have the confidence, I think, to fight some of the fights out here that need to be fought. You know, part of the oath, it says, I will, the oath is on my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. When you have that as a foundation, that oath, you know, and a scout is loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And I probably left some other ones out. You know, when you think about something about, you know, when you hear clean, you know, if you've never raised a 11-year-old boy,
teenage boy,
you know, from like the age 9 to 12 or 13, they for some reason think that they're allergic to soap and water. You know, there was always a lot of the foundation of Scouts, the way it was built back in the day, built strong men. Built men that were selfless. Built men that could not only go out in the woods and build a fire and, and do all these things, but they learned stuff about the environment. They would help old women across the street carry ladies' groceries homes.
Oh.
There he is. Do all kinds of things for the community and for this country. And so
Lost Dude said the Brotherhood of the Military has even died long ago. Yes and no. I've seen how my son and his buddies...
Marines are different.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But they definitely, they still keep up with each other. But.
Okay, so the moment I've been waiting for is the Naked Gardeners to show up. I got a letter. I got a letter. Guess
we just got a letter. We just got a letter.
So, let me, maybe should I ask if I can open this on camera? Maybe I shouldn't open it.
Maybe you should not show the address. Flip it around. Just in case. No. Does he have a P.O. box on there or something? I don't know. No, he's...
I think all of his stuff's out there anyway already.
Oh, I don't know.
So, the card says, thinking of you.
Did you read it? No. Or did you read it? Maybe you did. I don't know.
You open it up.
Oh.
And pow! The seeds that Sydney promised to give us. These chocolate habanero peppers.
Chocolate habanero peppers. Yeah. We're going to be planting those this week.
Yep. And it's, of course, the card said, thinking of you and sending you a whole truckload of smiles. Right? It's got a cat driving a truckload of smiles. Then handwritten.
What does it say? From your second favorite chocolate spicy olive.
And there's that.
I love me some Sydney. He said, "Well, our address is on our website." So, well, I just don't know because back in the day,
you still got like PTSD.
I do. Stuff. Back in the day when there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, we had to be really careful about our when we were opening boxes, and it wasn't just us; there was other people. So, it says. Sorry. It says, from your second fave chocolate spicy Holland. I want to know who your first favorite is.
Oh, he's jealous. He's going to say it's Jay.
Oh, okay.
He's got this whole jealousy thing about, Jay.
Replaced you.
Jay must not be talking to you, so then you're going to call the other Holland. Remember, I'm the original brother Holland.
Oh, that's right, because Jay's last name is... I forgot about that. They're okay. Yeah. So, yeah, your second favorite.
But what's really funny, when I tell Jay, I'm like, hey, I talked to your cousin the other day. He's like...
Who?
All right.
Yeah. That's because he's not threatened by him. See, Sydney's threatened by Jay.
Yeah. Jay's like, I already got this friendship on lockdown.
Yeah, Jay took my place.
So, but his wife got him the other day.
What's we doing? Who's Scott? Scott M. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Jay's wife got him, and Sydney, you'll get a kick out of this. When we did that video and we introduced the Hardings, she messed with Jay because Jay got real busy with his business, and so I kind of, when you're busy, I'm gonna leave you alone.
Right.
I'm not gonna nag you because I know how valuable time is. So his wife starts going, did you see the video? Yep. Jason done replaced you. He got a new friend. And so she said it like a lot, to the point where when he was in Florida, he brought me back a coffee mug that said Jason on it. He was like, I was just letting you know I saw this, I thought of you. And I'm like,
Sure you did.
You didn't get replaced. Jay, you still my boy. It must be a Holland thing.
Must be.
But yeah, I'm super stoked about those.
Well, we're starting hot peppers next week. Yes. So, well, I say next week, like in a couple days, because it's Saturday. So Monday. Monday we're starting seeds. So.
That's Mary's Heirloom.
Mary's Heirloom.
We've never tried any of Mary's seeds, have we?
Mm-mm.
So this will be a double first because we've never tried the chocolate habaneros either. So
I don't think we've even planted regular habaneros.
Yeah, we have.
I don't remember ever doing habaneros.
Yeah. Remember, we planted them out here, and they got too close to the bell pepper, and then Carol bit the bell pepper.
No, I thought those were the poblanos. I don't know. Anyway, what's up, Luke?
Yeah, so.
Have we made the on Carol not going tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Luke, Carol's not going to be at church tomorrow, just so you know. She's sick. I figured you would like that and think of me after you eat them on their way out.
Look, whether you like it or not, you could look. You're going to be 90 years old, 100 years old, and you're going to pass away. And your collard greens,
your legacy,
is planted here in this house because every year, like clockwork, Dessa makes collard greens.
And she always reaches out to him. Like, remind me again. What
always reaches out to you to make sure she's getting it right. And then the entire meal, she's like, so are they as good as Uncle Sidney's?
Are they better than Uncle Sidney's?
Are they better than Uncle Sidney's? Because if they're better than his, we're going to pull him right now. Like, baby, did you put your feet in them? Because if you didn't put your feet in them, then it's not working.
So Henry says, I will say this. I've tried some of the seeds from Mary's. They do pretty good, but not as good as Baker Creek. Okay.
Well, let's be honest. Baker Creek is slipping, y'all. I'm just going to put it out there. They're slipping. Their germination rate has not been the best last year in what we have gotten.
I feel like something's changed. Either somebody is in charge. There's been some, like, you know how we were talking earlier about how you can kind of pinpoint with the NFL and things that happen. I feel like we're going to be able to look back in maybe 3 or 4 years and go, this happened, and that's what changed it. But I do believe that the run on the seed stores affected everybody, but I feel like I don't think they're the same as they used to be. They have a lot of
things have changed with that, and I mean they're no longer a sponsor of this channel. I don't know if they're sponsoring any channel.
David Genthner. Hello, everyone. Jason, how did the stump removal go this summer?
Went really good. I got them all out.
Except for the one up by the gate.
That's not a stump. That is a mountain that is straight from Satan himself. But what are you doing to make us get thumbs down now?
I'm not. Your hand is going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Start going like this then.
Yeah, I agree, Lost Dude. I think that run.
I think when everybody bombarded it, I don't know, maybe they still haven't caught up, and their quality control is not what it used to be. But I will tell you this: I'll tell you one right now that's thumping and off the chain, and they're not a sponsor of us. We bought the seeds. We don't even. I mean, we barely said hello to them at Homesteaders of America's conventions and stuff like that when he was there, but it's M.I. Gardner.
Luke, yeah.
Everything that we bought from him that we did the sprinkling 2 or 3 per hole because, and really some of it's even a little bit more than that because we were like going off of, Baker Creek's having low germination rates. We just assumed everybody else was going to start having it. But M.I. Gardner stuff's coming up like weeds. And they're coming up healthy and they're coming up strong. They're coming up like the old before 2020 Baker Creek seeds used to. So if you're looking for seeds, look, go over there to M.I. Gardner, and he's not using inflation or Mr. 19 or anything like that to jack up his prices. His stuff is still like
$2. He used to be 99 cents, but he did have to go up to $2 just because, and this I can understand, Packaging went up. A whole bunch of things went up.
Yeah.
And so he had to go up just to be able to cover the cost on being able to package everything, label everything, you know, ship everything. Because he even does, I think if you order like $20, it's free shipping.
Yeah.
So I think that there are a lot of seed companies that aren't as good as they were a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, we were exclusively using Baker Creek because their germination rate was so good that, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that last year when we started it was like 2 years in a row, our germination rate just stunk.
Yeah.
And we were even like, well, maybe it's because it's older seed. We even ordered brand new seed and had nothing, like, just did not work. And so we decided, like, and see, that happened to us too. We had seed come up that wasn't the seed that it was supposed to be, and we weren't the only ones. I monitor like a lot of the different chats and different groups, and there were a lot of people that ran into that they had different things that it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up. Our chicken processor is going up, and chicken feed is going on. Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate that our feed mill.
Stop. Do not talk that into existence. You have this weird way of doing it. So stop. You did it with the Christmas trees when we first moved up here. So stop.
You want me to tell you something that's going to crush your day? I spoke the truck into existence.
Get out.
I literally, as we were getting down the driveway, I was like, all right, Lord, I really need an uneventful feed run today. But if it is eventful, just please protect us and keep us safe. Ladessa even said, don't speak that into existence. I'm starting to believe you. That's why I stopped. I didn't say anything more.
Y'all ever wonder when she just comes up missing one time?
She spoke something into existence.
One too many times.
One too many times. Now, David, I didn't mean to kind of like bypass your question. Which stump are you talking about? You talking about all the stumps, or are you talking about like that big oak stump that we had? Because we eventually, the one that we were talking about blowing up and stuff, we eventually had to burn that one out. We had to burn that one down. There was just no way of, man, we tried digging for days and it just wouldn't budge.
David said inflation has put a damper on a lot of things. Diesel pickup parts for my 26-year-old F350 are more than they used to be. Yeah, everything has gone up. I mean, I had to laugh I was telling Jason, I said, I think the girls really finally have figured it out. Like, we keep telling them, but I think like they feel it on a personal level, because every once in a while we would go get soda as a treat, and the girls, because they didn't really care whether it was generic or it was, you know, Coca-Cola or whatever, they would get the generic stuff because they could get a 2-liter for like 50 something cents. Well, we were walking through the other day and one of the girls saw it and she was like, is that right? And I said, what? She's like, that Sam's Cola is like $1.60. And I was like, yeah. It used to be 58 cents. And I was like, now you get it. Like, now you understand it's almost 3 times the price that it used to be.
Sydney, our whole front pasture
totally different.
Completely different from when you
need to come check it out.
Visit. A lot of the trees are gone. A lot of the stumps are gone. We've really been able to open it up since we got the tractor. Now it's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
But been able to really open it up, expand the pasture out to be able to give more paddocks for rotation. Now we're at about a month. It takes about a month to get from the first paddock to the
all the way back around.
All the way to the end.
So Lost Dude says a lot of stores have quit selling seeds. What do they know that we don't? I have not seen that here.
Yeah, the one I was thinking of using turmeric on, that's that big honking oak. No, we ended up doing our best to, we cut it as flush as we could with the ground, and then took the chainsaw and pretty much cut out the center of it the best that I could, and pretty much just started putting charcoal in there. And it better part of a week of constantly adding charcoal and stuff till it finally went. And then we had one big more bonfire over top of everything, and then we just covered the hole with dirt.
Mel
It's
said,
still got a little loop in it.
she said, okay, now I don't feel so bad about my germination rate. I thought it was because of my climate difference, but I guess it was the seeds. It's possible. It could be both. But if you were doing everything the same and having different results, then I would err on the side that it was probably the seeds.
So this is the time of year where even if you're only like halfway in this lifestyle, that it really starts to get exciting. It's like the build up to Christmas when you were like 6 or 7 years old, because this is the time when the cold weather is starting to go away. You're starting to get pops of dandelions and
our daffodils are out. Yep.
And then you start thinking.
And the trees, the peach tree has its buds coming up on and you can start to see little buds on the muscadines. Like everything's starting.
Yeah, that's one thing that we kind of got hosed with this year because of warm, cold, wet. We didn't get all of the muscadines pruned, so we're gonna have to maybe do a hard prune next year, or just maybe even try to prune back, or maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise that we can expand some of these. You know what we probably should do? Okay, this is what we need to do. We need to start saving them 20-ounce water bottles. Or
you want to do some air layering?
Let's do some air layering.
We can try
and propagate these.
The thing about the air layering, and we just have to we're gonna have to set a reminder, because of the way that you do air layering, you have to make sure that it gets watered. And in the middle of the summer, it gets so hot that dries out so quick. Like it'll have to be like when we're watering the animals, we water that as well. Geeky, let's see.
All right, April, thank you for coming by tonight.
Windswept said Walmart just throws them away. They don't donate them. They just put them into the compactor.
What's that?
Seeds. Geeky Garden says my germination rate was slow this year, but they eventually came up after I reseeded. The almond orchards have already brought in the beehives. Can you do cuttings? Yes, you can. However, we have learned that air layering is an even better way to do it, and what that is, and we'll do a video and show you how to do it. But you essentially keep the cutting still attached to the plant, and that causes you to have a much better
It's like how you do strawberries.
So yeah,
when strawberries send out those shoots, it's easier to take that shoot, and as it starts to form, take it where it's forming,
put it in the dirt,
put it on top of some dirt, push it down in there a little bit, cover it up, and then it'll grow roots, and then you just cut it away.
Cut it away when it's ready,
and it's good to go. So but the theory with the air layer, like, I almost want to see how much those packets cost of those kits that have like the ball that you snap onto it instead of doing the 2-liter bottles. But
I don't. Mel said inflation for you guys is nothing compared to us here. Costco has the cheapest gas. It's $4.25 a gallon. A loaf of bread is $6 and $7.70 for a gallon of milk. David says, right now I have been concentrating on my health because I got a blockage the doctors are going to remove between my heart and my right lung. Once I heal, it's going to be 100% getting back into shape for creating. Yeah.
There you go. We'll put you on the prayer list there, David.
Air layer balls don't work. Ask me how I know. Let me guess. You tried. Yeah.
Was it the ball, or did you mess up?
What I noticed is it's because of you have to have the right.
Yeah, it's water.
Yeah, you have to have water in there, and you have to have the right medium in it to be able to encourage the roots to grow. That's the big thing. between those two. If it doesn't get any water, then it's not going to do anything. It's no different than we've got those sweet potato slips or sweet potatoes sitting in there. It's very humid, no, it's not humid. It's dry heat in that seed room right now because that's where Ladessa's tortoises are. And so we have to constantly be in there checking that soil because that soil is made to be, it's kind of airy. So it doesn't take long for it to dry out. So we may, I don't know, I have to figure out how to do that. I may have to put something underneath them because the bottoms of them have holes. So I may have to put something underneath it to put water in so that it's like constantly able to wick up.
That's easy. Yeah.
Wick up water out of there because otherwise they're not going to do anything. They're just going to sit there in the dirt like not going to do a thing. So
I'm crazy excited this year for our growing season. Now, I messed up last year because we got the tractor in December and completely ruined the possibility for us to be able to really grow any food with everything that I was trying to do. Well, I got most of that stuff out of the way, and now I got more areas to grow in, and so.
Well, you made a good thing happen. And now, we're not quite ready out there yet. But what you did do was made sure that we had beds here so that I could go ahead and start planting. So even if that didn't get done out there, there was still something here for me to put, because out there I couldn't do anything. And the way that the beds were all falling apart and we'd torn everything down, I couldn't really do anything last year. But this year I at least have beds to put plants in. So worst case, and I got a bunch of buckets with soil and stuff like that in them. So anyway, so we are definitely excited to start seed.
I'm going to be putting
to catch a swarm?
Yes, I'm going to be putting my swarm traps out in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But we know like clockwork, right around the last week in March, first full week in April, the bees around here swarm. You could pretty much set your clock to it. And so I'll put mine out probably a couple of days before those things. But one of the things that I'm super excited about, I feel like I have the opportunity this year to really kind of make one of your dreams a reality. And that's for you to be able to walk out that back door.
I'm hoping.
And see nothing but sunflowers.
I am hoping, like, you have no idea how excited I am about the possibility of that. Because the idea, and even more for y'all, because that will be like a backdrop content. Like, I'll be shooting out of the back.
Every video
we'll be on the back of the pond and seeing all of those sunflowers.
So if you don't like sunflowers, just go ahead and unsubscribe.
And here's the best part, because the way that, sunflowers move with the sun, right? And so in the afternoon, those sunflowers will be facing
the house.
Oh, yeah, right over the house. So I'll be able to film in the afternoon with the sunflowers in the background. So, like, I am I'm really looking forward to that.
And we've done some things with the pigs this year. Really, I say we, but Carol's been did some things with the pigs that's kind of even opening up another avenue that I didn't feel like we might have been ready for this year, but the pigs really stepped up the game. And
Carol's really stepped up the game.
And I think Carol had a talk with him, like, if you didn't do this, I think Dad's going to eat you, kind of thing. But they really, really did that. And I'm probably going to have to go out and shoot a little vlog video this week of that area and tell you what the plans are. But it's one of those that, they did what they did, and they did it so well that I'm kind of like, you just opened up a whole new avenue here for us.
But see, that's why that's why I caveated what I was saying earlier about that out there. I want to make sure that we focus on that before we focus on that.
That is simple. I mean, that's
you heard it, right?
That's going to be
simple.
Well, that has to be done, so that way it doesn't go away. It doesn't erode away.
And exactly my point.
So,
I am excited that I have beds out here because if nothing else, those will get planted. We you know, Jason and I keep going back and forth with this. Is, you know, some of y'all have been around with us for quite a while. I know Sydney, if he's still in here, was able to actually see it in play. Is that we were growing a ton of food just in our front yard. Not even out in the big garden, but right here in the front. And so we started talking about what we're going to plant, and Jason was like, okay, Robin, we're only planning what we're going to eat. You know, we're only planning what we're going to eat during the summer. Like, that's it.
Wait a minute, what did he say?
He said, we learned a new way of doing pigs that we're going to try this year. And then he said, then reseed the area.
Yeah, that's what we taught you. It must be not explaining that right, because it kind of...
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we, so when we were talking about, hold on, then reseed the area with the pigs, then allow that area to grow big and tall and follow the sheep behind it. Yeah, you can, yeah.
That's one thing I am kind of a little jelly with about them. They did get into sheep.
We have sheep all around us. When we're ready, I'm sure we can find them. They're not hard to find around here now. There's a lot of people that have sheep. A lot of Katahdins around here. A lot of them. So we should not have any problem finding Katahdins. We
are getting out of goats. One of the members of our small group at our church, he's taking the
one of the males.
One of the little boys.
Yep.
That was from Betty or
Betty.
Wilma, whatever her name is. And then the rest of the goats are going to freezer camp.
Mm-hmm.
We've done our absolute best to try to sell them. Practically almost like give them away.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
wants them.
Nobody wants goats. So they're going to go to freezer camp because I am determined to have a fabulous garden.
Yeah, and that was, and you've had no argument out of me on that, because what little bit we did was destroyed when they would get out.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would go to try and plant something, and then we'd walk out there and it'd be gone.
But we also have a lot of construction projects going on, and I really got to remember, and see, I fail you guys. I'll be honest to tell you right off the bat, I fail y'all. I get out there and I get knee deep in a project, and I'm like, I forgot the camera. It's just because, TBI brain, I guess. I mean, let's.
Oh,
I'm going to use it to my advantage somehow.
No, and the other thing too, hold on, because I do think this is a thing, and you guys can probably relate to this. Jason's level, his pain level never goes to zero. He is at a constant threshold of pain, okay? And so whenever he has a bad day, the pain goes way up and he can't do anything. He has to sit on the couch and be done with it, and that's it. But when his threshold comes back down to what would be his zero, but it's really not zero, when he's in those times, because they're few and far between, he wants to go take advantage of it and go do it. And so the last thing he's thinking about is filming it. He's wanting to get it done because he has things, we have stuff on lists to get stuff done, and he feels like he's constantly behind because his good days are less than his bad days.
And that was something that we picked up from Sydney, and they could.
No, they're all dwarf, Nigerian dwarf, Mark.
That they showed some stuff like on their Instagram or TikTok or something, how they got this like whole wall, this one room where they chart everything out. And I told Robin, I said, I think we need to try that. And we started with just weekly goals, a month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year goals, and we've been sitting down writing them out. And sometimes we're like, okay, this situation happened, and most of the time it's dealing with my health. Like here recently, we had another set of bad news, I guess, whatever.
Elephant board, yep, that's what it was.
And we had to take down our boards and go, okay, let's back up and punt kind of thing. And we had to reevaluate, and we're starting to make more smart goals to accommodate this other junk. And so that is something that if you had to ask me right now, what would be the number one tool in being a successful homesteader or really a successful anything, it's that elephant board. It really is. That thing is a huge, at least for a guy like me who has a brain like mine that operates in these little tiny boxes, but then sometimes I forget
What's in them?
what's in the box, or I lock the box and I can't remember where the hell I put the key.
That's the best way to put that.
So this elephant board pretty much says, "Hey, dummy, here's
Well,
the
it's
key."
great because we literally have it on this wall right here, and our bed is right there. So when we wake up in the morning, it's the first thing we see.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me, I don't know if that's for you, but first thing in the morning,
Well,
it's
I'm
right
sleeping
there.
in the same bed.
Well, I don't know if you actually look at it. I make it a point every morning when I wake up. That's why they're empty right now, because I was so depressed by all of the things that we weren't getting done that we have them all written on paper. We just haven't written them up on the board yet. But we would look at them and I would go, okay, I didn't get that done again today. I didn't get that done again today. And so that's something that we had to look at it and go, okay, maybe we set ourselves up a little too lofty at first. You know, we are still we're still navigating through Jason's disability. I think until the last month or so, we weren't even calling it a disability. And you can see him hanging his head. We're still navigating even calling it that or acknowledging that. And so there are some times when we both have to realize that today's not a day to get anything done. Today's just a day to be. And so we're still navigating through that. And so when we made these lists initially, we weren't there yet. And so we're having to really work through that and readjust our goals. And then if we start to really like knock them out of the water, then we'll add a few more, you know. So that's where we're at. We're just trying to set ourselves up to succeed as opposed to setting ourselves up to fail.
Yeah, I don't want 70-year-old Jason to come back and run me over or punch me in the face or something either. You know, so. But look, another thing, and then we've done gone over the hour, but oh well. Another thing, I know we told you guys a couple months ago that we are walking away from broilers for a little while. Our main focus is more well-roundedness, sustainability. We had horrible luck. And we weren't the only ones, you know, and it wasn't just from one hatchery or another.
There's a lot of people that...
you know, it didn't matter if we got them from McMurray or we got them from Tractor Supply or
what?
or what. We just, no matter how much we fed them, they were not getting any definition to them.
And we knew we had eliminated feed because we had friends who had gotten their stuff from a different hatchery, but they use the same feed place that we do. Yeah. So we know it wasn't feed. We
got broilers from different hatcheries.
Right, but what I'm saying is that they got theirs from a different source than we did. Yeah. And so I don't know if it was certain batches.
Yeah, and you know, it could have. We can sit here and run the probabilities all day long. You know, it could have been one or two birds that had some illness that spread through the entire flock. You know, I don't know. But it was definitely something that was going around. We talked to McMurray about it, and we weren't the only ones that had that issue. But
Cornish,
we are gonna, and it's mostly, look, when you're doing stuff and you're trying to have a business and you're trying to make money off of it, you have to look at your demographic, and you have to do your best to try to educate that demographic. But there are times that you'd stand a better chance, as what Jess said in her one video, of going outside and talking to a rock and debating it with a rock.
Because you get more
Because
feedback.
you get more feedback. What do you want? No. Or getting a teenager to pretend they have manners. You stand a better chance with that. What was I talking about?
Oh, all sorts. About the educating people. I'm assuming because
right, gotcha. I'm back on track. And so with my demographic here, I have about this, like this portion, like the size of my fist, of people that get the aspect with broilers, and they want the larger breasts, and the leaner.
Yeah, because that's what Sydney says. They're only raising their Cornish because people around there love breast meat.
Yeah. And
they sell out a breast and tenderloin rather than the legs and thighs.
And so I have a very small window of that. Now, I could spend the time and the effort and the money to get my name out there more in Athens and in Greenville, probably Augusta, areas that are farther away, to make that number explode. But it's not very cost effective for me to do that. Whereas if I go back to a heritage breed and take the roosters, now granted it's going to take me longer, it's going to take about 4 months, but I get a more well-rounded bird where I get a good thigh, I get a good leg, I got a decent breast, you know, and then you can sell the whole bird at a fair price, then my customer base is going to be a lot higher. You know, there's that, and plus, you know, it's not a stable economy out there to begin with. So at any given point in time,
I'm looking at what I want to eat.
You know, I got to worry about feeding these monkeys here and being able to continue to do that later on down the road. Because, I mean, look, we're not going to turn our back on our roots, and our roots comes, at least for us, comes from preparedness. And so that's one of the things that's always a forethought in our mind. We always do our best to keep our finger on the pulse. Now, I'm not going to run any conspiracy theories down and kick those horses, but at the end of the day, you cannot argue with numbers. You cannot argue with math. And right now, the national debt is
way out of control.
Beyond. Yeah. It's, in my opinion, it's reached a point where it can't be fixed. That there's got to be like a hard reset or something.
Right.
And so if that does happen, you know, it's going to be super hard times for everybody. And I want to be able to not only relieve that stress, those hard times on my family, but I'm a part of this community. I'm a part of Rock Branch Baptist Church. And I want to be able to help relieve some stress from my community, and the Cornish cross is not sustainable.
Yeah. So, Lost Dude says you should try Heritage or Red Rangers. We have a friend who did Red Rangers, and they're okay. But what she ended up doing is she kept some of her Red Ranger roosters, and she bred them back.
By Mama Mitzi.
She bred them back to her Rhode Islands, and so she's kind of thinning out the bloodline a little bit to where it's more sustainable. Lone Star said, raised Cornish cross our first year out here. The wife and I agree. They're just unnatural. Yeah. And they'll be raising more heritage breeds of meat birds, more sustainable and as God intended.
Well, you know, Robin shared that we have a friend of ours that were in a small group that got their Cornishes from another place, and there's put the size on. But they also developed some weird illness, some sickness where there was this like green, like what was it, like gel or
muscle. It was
what? Okay, he researched it and he figured out what it was.
muscular myopathy or something like that.
And so like there was like it looked. I'm not trying to be gross, but it looked like somebody had the flu and sneezed on the chicken. It was just this big green slimy junk, and I mean I'm not going to eat that. You know, I wouldn't even let my dog eat that. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, and look, I can agree to disagree with anybody, and everything has their positives and everything has their negatives. You know.
Yeah, Lone Star, we're going to do that too.
In our climate where we live, chickens are very easy to maintain and very easy sustainability wise if everything goes crazy. They're going to be a good solid protein source that really at the end of the day the only thing that I have to worry about is predators, four-legged and two-legged kind. And I actually have a plan that we're going to be implementing here pretty soon. I have to build the coop, so we're going to share it with y'all on how I'm going to really kind of eliminate some of the threat of some of that. I'm going to make it more people. Predators are going to be burning a lot more calories.
It's not going to be worth it.
It's not going to be worth it. They're going to walk away. The two-legged kind that can grow a beard and talk funny, you know, they may go for it, but then they may just have a really bad day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I could stop today. I could stop if I wanted to today buying chicken feed, and my chickens will be fine.
Well, I mean, we did, and I mean, we had to do that. I don't think you knew this, but we had a week where it was a week ago. We forgot to put, I say we lightly, forgot to put the barrel in the truck, and so for a week we had to just make sure we moved them constantly so that they were able to forage around, and they were fine. They did perfectly fine.
Well, in my climate, I can successfully raise with very little effort mealworms, black soldier flies. I can put out what we refer to as a maggot bucket. Okay.
We need to come up with a better name for that.
And there's all of the protein sources right there. To make sure that my layers are getting enough calcium, I will just take the eggs, take the egg shells in a food processor, or just crunch them up by hand and mix them back in with the feed. Plus this with the stuff that we grow. If we have, you know, like not last year, but the year before last, we had a bumper crop of yellow squash, summer squash. We couldn't keep up.
So many.
And the pigs and the chickens went on a full summer squash diet for a couple of months. To where we were going out there daily, and we were still finding squash that we missed, and they would get the brown spots or they would get a worm in them. And so we could be very selective of what we brought into the house for us to consume. And if it had like a little wormhole or stuff in it, it went to the pigs or it went to the chickens, and they got the worm, they got the extra protein. And so,
and then like when we were pulling out plants, like we pulled out all the sweet peas. Once the sweet peas it was done for the spring, we tossed the whole plant in there and let them go after that. So there, it can be done. It just takes effort. It just takes time.
What did he say? Chicken sustainable feed
bucket. Yeah. I don't like calling it a maggot bucket because most people don't like maggots. So the first thing they
at the end of the day, that is black soldier flies and the maggot bucket, in my opinion, are
Good night, Mark. It was nice seeing you and Mitzi.
The strongest tool for homesteaders that live in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, pretty much the South, Texas.
That's the dog.
And
come here, baby.
that because one, black soldier flies are what's the word? Indigenous to our area. Their larvae are.
Don't you do it.
You better take the base out of that. Their larvae are such vicious consumers. I mean, we watched them take a calf.
Holy crap, she's huge.
What?
She's not even as big as Apollo, I don't think. Wasn't Apollo like 120?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't even broken 100 pounds yet. She's timid.
Come up here and get me.
But, and so you have that as a protein source. Then you can stick them in your North American sun oven, and you can dehydrate these black soldier fly larvae, and the percentage of protein actually goes up.
Okay.
But with the maggot bucket, you can take fish scraps. You can take food scraps. You can take stuff that you cannot put in your compost, put it in this maggot bucket, let your little house flies lay their eggs, and would you stop it? lay their eggs and let those maggots come in, and then you can
That's not even. She's just. I just want y'all to know this is her purring. I know it sounds like a growl, but
Get down.
She is very happy right now.
Now come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I'm gonna take the base out. And so you have these sources of protein that just by thinking outside the box, you can.
You can't.
Go ahead, bite me. You gonna talk tough?
See, that's the thing that I think is hilarious. Okay, so y'all hear her growling, right? Or growling. But you can put her hand in her mouth. She won't even bite. Like, I'm literally holding her teeth and she won't do anything. So, anyway. Luke said, I've seen what the maggots can do to fish. It's amazing. Or black soldier flies, I guess.
Yeah.
Doesn't that bucket attract predators?
No, not really.
I'll tell you, the fish did.
Well, we didn't have the fish set up right, and I accidentally ran over it with the tractor, and so it popped the lid, and so it attracted everything and its brother to that smell.
And of course, it took us a minute to figure it out.
Y'all want to watch something funny? Watch this. Now, watch. Hey, no biting in Kung Fu. No biting in Kung Fu.
Stop kicking.
Hey, sit. Sit. Good girl.
Everything's fine.
Good girl.
Yeah, so she likes to play Kung Fu with Jason, and they'll go back and forth, and she never,
all she does is grab my leg with her paws like y'all saw.
Yeah, she'll kind of like bat
and
them
move
back,
them back and forth, and she'll act like it, and every now and then I'll have to remind her that there's no biting in Kung Fu because she'll like to grab my pants leg. What did Sydney say?
He said, now I have to change my new underwear again. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing, Dad.
Back up. Good girl. Sit.
Yeah, I mean, she's very well behaved. We just had to learn that with her, she has this like purr, that when you get a certain spot or give her the right kind of attention, she will just.
If you might get her to do that head nod thing.
She's
I'm not a performing monkey.
That's exactly
All
what
right,
it is.
Get up here. Come.
Get up on the bed.
Get up on the bed. Come on, get up there.
There you
Right
go.
up there.
Lay down.
No, lay down. This is not playtime. This is not King of the Hill. Down.
Hey TJ, what's up? Even if she doesn't actually do anything to an intruder, I don't think they're staying for long. That is exactly, like, that's one of the things, because she, if somebody were to try and kick at her, that's kind of why I haven't corrected the whole kung fu behavior. Because you think about it, if somebody's trying to get a dog off of them, the first thing they're going to do is try to kick.
Mm-hmm.
And so the minute they go to kick, she's going to think they're playing kung fu, and they're going to, I mean, you're going to get the Sydney reaction. Like, I'm going to have to go change my shorts, because they don't know she's not going to bite.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually, I don't know that. I don't know for a fact that she wouldn't.
Oh, I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now, if our tones would change, if our body language would change, dogs can pick up when you're scared,
Yeah.
when you're angry, when you're aggravated.
Yeah.
She will go to a defensive posture. And when she hits that defensive posture,
I'm running.
she will. I mean, that's the good thing about. Well, see, we got a double whammy, and that's why I'm going to breed them. We've got the livestock guardian dog out there, the Great Pyrenees. They are territorial, and they're great protectors, and they're extremely loyal, and they're crazy intelligent. Rotties, crazy intelligent.
Crazy.
Good, solid family dogs.
Loyal, loving.
Loving. All the way around.
Herder. She's a herd dog.
Yeah.
Through and through. Hadn't been trained to do it, but she does it. She has no problem doing it.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Now, the two negatives that they have, one from each one of them, and they're huge. One, they're both hard-headed.
Hard-headed, God.
This one is so hard-headed that it's not even funny sometimes. When she gets it in her head, like, and that's one of the things that I worry about, that if we ever, and I probably shouldn't worry about it, but at the end of the day I do, if anybody was ever dumb enough to do a home invasion on us,
I don't know that we'd be able to call her off.
I don't know if I'd be able to call her off.
I don't know that we would.
You know, she may go.
Yeah, it is natural. Yeah.
It may go. She may go until she feels the threat is neutralized.
Right.
You know, and same way with.
Now Gizmo's more of a barker. I've never really seen. Now with predator animals.
Well, tell that guy that was trying to break into the truck that he's just a barker.
That's a good point.
I don't think that guy stopped running yet.
But just this past week, we went out and Gizmo had jumped his fence. We've got him in electric fencing, and the electric fencing keeps him just fine, unless he feels there's a threat that he has to neutralize. And he jumped the fence, and we heard him barking, and he was right behind the house, up on the dam. And I was like, what is he doing? And I could hear him like he was pouncing on something. And we walked over there, and he was attacking a hole. There was obviously something in the hole. So we got him back. We took him back, put him back in. And I even said to myself in the back of my head, we should have just let him finish what he was doing. Because we're going to put him back in there, and all he's going to do is jump out and go find it again. And sure enough, within the next 30 or so minutes, we heard him back there barking again. We were in here watching a movie, and I heard him barking, and I was like, you don't even have to look for him. Just go look where that hole was. That's exactly where he is. And sure enough, he was back there again, and he did it again later. I'd already gone to bed.
Yeah, it was a possum.
And it was a possum. There was a threat, and that possum was a threat. And so he went, found that possum, and killed that possum.
You know, I came across the story of another Great Pyrenees. The guy did not have it, but like a week or so.
and he bought the Great Pyr because their coyote population was starting to explode. And don't even think about jumping on me in this chair.
You better not.
Don't even. If that thought even crossed that head of yours, you better apologize.
Mama will kill you if you mess that up. Has Daddy seen that you chewed his steak hat? Just the corner, like right here.
But that Great Pyr ended up killing like 8 or 9 coyotes.
I believe it.
But he got some serious wounds to him. Because the pack was 13 strong. The farmer said he stopped counting at 13.
Wow.
And he said he couldn't call the dog off because he was going to call the dog back and start shooting. But the Great Pyr ran and dropped 3 like real quick. Bow, 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 bow.
Wow.
And ended up chasing the entire pack off, and the dog was gone for like 2 or 3 days. They figured, okay, I'm going to end up stumbling across him in the woods somewhere, dead somewhere. But he ended up coming back, and some of his wounds were infected. Lay down. You're not going to pounce on me. And, they ended up taking him to the vet, and he had to have a couple of surgeries and stuff, but dog's right back out there right now. But
I believe that, and that is one thing that we've gotten. When the first couple of times he got out, we would panic. We would like really panic. And now, especially now that I heard that Mrs. Brown was like brave enough to even hold him by the collar. So like now I really don't sweat him coming back, because literally what he ends up doing is he makes a perimeter check. Like he runs to the back. If something catches his eye, he runs all the way to the back pasture. He clears the back pasture. A lot of times he even rounds up the cattle to make sure they're all together. And then he comes back up here and he walks around the perimeter of the outside of the fence and then comes back down the driveway. And so there have been times that we didn't even know he was out. And he'll come up on the porch and be like, hey.
Y'all got to turn the fence
off. Y'all got to turn the fence off so I can get back in.
Past my bedtime.
Yeah. And then and we know when he's had a rough night because he will sleep. He'll stay up until about 11 a.m. And then he's out until like 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. And then he gets right back up and is going again. So, anyway. So, he said, well, stay blessed, folks. Hope these seeds work out for you guys, even though I am the second favorite. Good night.
Good night. Well, on that note, we got to round things up, too, because we still got our after show for our members tonight. So we got to kind of wrap things up here. Beyond how are you guys liking the pig stuff, the pig processing and videos and stuff? If you haven't seen them, they're out, and you got another one coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
So there's that. For those of you that don't know, we do have our membership open on our channel, and the after shows are great. They are packed full of information, and pretty much continue some of these conversations that would go along. Plus, we kind of let our members know what's going on behind the scenes, what to be looking forward to. They get first choice on some products when we have new products coming out and stuff like that. So that may be something to look into. And because we've always got something that we're announcing in the after show. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed our content that we have brought out. Please continue those commenting.
Yes,
you guys are doing an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
Are actually seeing some results from that. So please keep up the commenting. And the thumbs up and stuff. And hey, if you really liked it, hey, do us a solid and share it. Share it for us. That gives us a little bit more of a reach. If you haven't been to the website in a while, come on by and check it out, www.bigbearhomestead.com. In fact, it's actually hosted by one of our members, Copper Kettle
Mm-hmm.
Farms. She hosts websites. So if you guys are thinking about starting a website, or if you've got a website, you're not happy with your host, most definitely
Check her out.
check her out. I'll put it to you
There
this
you are.
way. We were with GoDaddy, and now we're with her.
Couldn't be happier.
Couldn't be happier.
Mhm.
And I used to have to worry a little bit about my stuff disappearing if anything happened on the web. She backs up twice as much. So that stress of me losing the stuff that I put out there on my website is no longer a thing. She's extremely knowledgeable. I mean, all the way around, very, very good. And I even said this about her before she was a member. So y'all go and check out Copper Kettle Farms and talk to Crystal and see about her hosting your website, because I think everybody should have a website.
Or the traps on it. Niana, if you're interested in traps, just reach out to me. Just send me a message on Facebook.
Yeah, I think they need mole traps.
Oh, mole traps?
Yes, we can get them.
Okay, yeah. We just reach out to me. Let me know what you're looking for, and we'll take care of it through that way instead of through the website. So.
Yeah, because I got to get a lot of those traps and stuff updated because.
Well, prices have changed.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of different stuff. So. All right, Windswept. All right, y'all. Well, we'll see you next week and be looking for a video tomorrow. And then I think we're probably going to stick with Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah.
Instead of Tuesday and Thursday. I think Wednesday and Friday gives us a little bit of time to get stuff put back out after Sunday, day of rest and all that. So, all right, y'all. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
God bless. I don't even know if I should do this right now because this is April's favorite thing, and she's not here. She had to leave early. So